what do you think about porn, guys?
Yeah, what do you think about porn? Give us your honest opinion. That's porn. And also going to be talking about my chechi awandisa.
Muchipina mtaona mapostori micheka and the council is doing nothing about it.
Mudzimba my double bass nema chichi. The guy with the 2 zig.
Oh yes.
Akazopoa 2 zig.
Yeah, man,
Yeah, so stay tuned, stay locked in, watch it to the end, subscribe, like, share.
Hey guys, what's up? I'm Manyo Simon Sakala, and in the studio with me is Mr.
Matthew Manaka Dibok. How are you all doing out there?
Alright. I came across a letter that was circulating on the internet. Did you see it? Like a letter from the Council of Harare sending to someone who was applying for for their money.
Yes, I saw that one.
What do you think of that, bro? What do you take of that? What do you think of our council, of our government? What are they doing?
Wow. Yeah, that one's tricky.
Yeah.
I think, you know, when laws are put into place, right? There's always going to be a loser.
All right.
Yes. Unfortunately, there's always going to be a loser when things change. So I think in this case, things changed, and unfortunately, that person who received that letter was the loser.
All right.
Yes.
So you think they're justified to do that?
Justified within the law, yes, but is it right? No, it's not right. But within the law, there is justification.
But it clearly states that that guy was owed $5,000 US. It doesn't really matter how many times the US dollar was converted to what and what and what and what. It was US dollars when he was owed, and US dollars still exist until now. It's not like they were phased out. So why would you want to convert it to all those foreign currencies so that it just devalues? Yet the US dollar still exists.
True, the US dollar does exist, but don't forget when the money was owed, when it was US dollar, our base currency was still the ZWL. Then we had a multi-currency of the USD and the Rand. So our base currency being that means the government paid out whatever they paid out using the ZWL. So they're always going to convert any other currency to the base currency. I can even give an example of certain payments that were made to certain government institutions. They're not recognized now anymore. Let's say you paid X amount of ZWL to a government institution. Then now you want to follow up on that receipt. They don't recognize that money anymore.
Why?
They say it's because that ZWL that was paid, let's say you paid to an institution, all the money that goes to institutions ends up going to Treasury. So once the money goes to Treasury and the institution is not holding that money, if Treasury takes that money and they happen to convert it to a new currency, they don't get that money back within that new currency. So your payment is not valid. That's how they're putting it.
Yeah,
It
doesn't even make sense.
It's unfortunate. I think as things change, certain people lose, certain people win. It's very unfortunate.
It's unfortunate, but it's not fair.
Fair, yeah.
English people to try to be fair, bro. Imagine pension in Munu Baba. That was pension, right?
Yeah, it wasn't back pay. I think it was back.
Whatever it was, bro. And you, I don't know. As the HR manager, as you write that, how do you feel? You cannot go and stand for that person. But 2 zig is nothing, nothing, bro. And you don't feel anything.
That's crazy.
If the president happens to watch this, do something about this. It's not nice. It's not fair. At least my citizens should. But there should be some considerations. As make it sense.
Yeah, true. I guess the power to the president.
No, the president has the power to change anything. Don't you know that?
True, but it doesn't happen in that way. Probably who can actually step in is the labor law guys. Most likely.
Fine, the labor law guys. Yeah. Please step in and help these guys. Not fair.
Definitely, it should come in. And also, all now depends on his contract. Because if his contract was said he used to be paid in any currency that dominates within Zimbabwe, then if it wasn't explicitly USD.
Saka, what are we trying to say? We're saying that as long as a contract stipulates something in whichever way it does, there are no logical or emotional decisions that can be made, because clearly, regardless of what the law may say, 2 zig is nothing now for someone who was owed 5,000 US, and people know it was 5,000 US dollars, even though it was converted to all that nonsense until it's $2, 2 zig. you know it's nothing emotionally, or I mean like as a human being, would you, even if you're an employee, mate, even if your contracts allows you to give them $2, 2 zig, would you give them 2 zig and still have a clear conscience after that?
Definitely, per clear conscience are going to be a little bit difficult, but I think where the issue comes down from, if it's the council that's giving someone money that owed them, it's going to be a situation where let's say whoever's the HR in council, they feel for this person because Vaishandizanawe said they know him or know her, but where is the money going to come from? Because don't forget, this is not a private institution. This is a public institution, so how are you going to say because Maria yabuda iri 2 regaiti vape $300 baby $300 unless yanga iri budget, to see where the issue will come down to. But probably yes, there should be a way where they can just say it's a surplus.
Because I'm thinking every year when these guys sit down, they set budgets aside. I don't remember budgets, they philanthropy. I want to talk about every year there are those. So I want to think if they really want to help people like this guy, they can. Because this guy served, bro. He was there, probably did the amazing production in Koko, but now they're giving them 2 zig.
But it also opens a can of worms, because if we do it for you, then we're going to do it for every Tom,
yes,
and any other person who works in any other different council.
Isn't that fair?
Fair, yes, but then I think it now loses a little bit.
These guys, they're buying cars and usually you know what the mayor or whatever, the town clerk, and is motor no dura 100,000, 500,000 just to drive comfortably, and the workers are being given 2 zig.
You know that I've always commented on that one a lot, to say it doesn't make sense how all these guys are driving these fancy cars and workers are getting a little bit. But you know one thing that I've come to realize about that, it's actually, what happens is these guys set up the budgets, right? Then they invite us, the community, to comment on those budgets and to give way. Most of us don't go. So if we say we're going to buy cars for ourselves and give the workers X amount of money, and no one contests that when we are supposed to contest it as a resident, then
so that's where everything falls apart. People don't go to contest or to listen
or to participate. I think if we did take that initiative of going pane town council meeting kuitika Charles Austin Theatre ku Jeko ku ABCD, we go. I think most people who go, they go there because they want to be involved in politics to a certain extent. But then just the normal resident kashoma kuti tindi. But I think takaenda atizocomplain manje takuona mayor or whoever drivers GT6 zvomboitigwe kasa havana kutora marara 1 havana kudi. But I think if you take the initiative to go tombonokomenta tombononzwa kuti vada kuite, it will definitely help. Even in this situation yemunhu who's being given X amount of money, I think even them putting the letter on social media is not the right direction to go, because I think there should be channels to be able to make applications for that. With Iowa Apapa to Zigaiti, who do you go through? Who do your union?
You mean the person by publishing that he actually made a mistake?
I think he made a mistake, because that's not the. I'm sure there should be channels for it, because
maybe he took the channels and they never did anything. Then he just thought, well, let me just put this on social media so that people can see it. Even if I don't think it will come to a situation where you do take the right channels and nothing particularly happens, because as I'm saying, you can go to Labour, you can go to the Minister of Local Governance, you can go to your union reps if he was in a union or if she was in a union, and most of the council workers are in unions. So I think there are channels to go about it, but when you now put it per social media, so it's open to interpretation. We don't know whether the person took the channels or not. We don't know what was said behind closed doors. So everyone's now just open to interpretation, and sometimes the issue can blow out of hand before we really know what's going on. All right, no, that's fine. That's okay. Still talking about councils, I also heard that the Council of Harare is now going to require churches who are who are hosting their churches at illegal places, like probably schools which are not licensed, wherever they are. Now the council is requiring them to have licenses, and it's going to put them out in 2 months. They're giving them a leeway of 2 months. They're going to be going around like what they were doing with those illegal houses and the like. They're still continuing with that as well. Okay. So I don't know what you think about it. Churches, they usually just operated wherever they could. Now the council is saying, no, you don't do that anymore. You need to have a license that assures us that you're complying with all the health requirements and all that stuff.
I think it's a About damn time, man.
Okay.
Wow, finally.
Okay.
There are just so many churches in places that doesn't make sense. Because I would assume when the cities were built, right, there is always a provision for schools, churches, recreational areas. It's already within the town plan. But us, because we are Africans, church inoitwa chero patafungira, chero pasasi pemuti, chero garden, pose patafungira, which destroys the value of the neighborhoods. The neighborhood value as in property value, let's say, and also destroys the neighborhood ecologically, because vanhu vanenge vakaungana at a certain place, vakaungana paden pako, we are 50. But your toilet doesn't accommodate 50 people. Vamwe vanenge vachivetera panze, vanenge vachirasa mapepa, vanenge vachirasa, vamwe vanenge vachitoita noise. It's noise pollution. So many churches have PA system. Church yose ingomanyira PA system. Hey, music corner, PA system, music corner, PA system. But vanenge vachititira rufya. It's about time.
It's about time.
It's about time. It's about time.
I'm a little bit neutral about it, but I understand how you think it's about time. Though the only people that would have actually wanted them, or rather, if they're going to do these campaigns, vanofamba vatanga kudesign mafesa mapostori anokutenda anowanza kupicha muchipinda mutown. Every city, whether masvingo, Harare, Bulawayo, Gweru, usati wapinda mutown utanga watandwa nemapostori. And then what boggles my mind is the council is always moving around ichibvisa vanhu mutown, mapotatoes, tomatoes, vendors, but mapostori aya havamabvisi. Why? It's an eye in the soul. The soul in the eye. I don't know. So you think they're afraid of being beaten?
No, I'm joking.
Because it doesn't make sense. I think maybe they're afraid of the superpowers that they claim they have. Because right now, in town, Meduma there is one per bridge. There should be one side Uku. Then there's one Kurujeko. Uchi side the Kurujeko. And then they put those fabrics and it's just loud. It's the first thing that you see in town. What is that?
True. Yeah, that does make sense. It doesn't make sense for these kinds of guys. Most likely they drive to work to and
yeah,
from.
They see those people.
Literally, the housing director.
Why do they leave those people?
Sees all that. I'm not sure what the issue could be. Probably it's not in designated council controlled areas.
Also, does it mean that we can just come in those areas and do whatever we want?
To a certain extent, I think so, because look at it like this. Unless it's a designated area by council, designated as in residential, commercial, recreational, and it's just there in the middle of the bush.
I don't think so.
That's what I would like to think, because it seems to be bush. People, like, let me give you an example. Do you think council will come and say license annually for having the braai here?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But my issue is I don't think if you go and pitch a banner somewhere towards the city, into the city, the council will just sit and ignore. I'm pretty sure they'll come. Yes, because like the places that we're talking about, in Zimbabwe, watopinda mumasvingo todarika roundabout uri kuti tapinda mumasvingo, and the first thing you see is mapostori vakomana.
Ivawo definitely. And secondly, vari mudzimba aiwa
hativati
especially revival ndetose the whole street. Where's what they're going to do is vanotora mabase bin vonotora ma15 madouble 15 inch
saka vodiva vada kurubidza mwari wavo mwari kwayanorumbidzwa pese anyway you can praise the Lord.
But you know not kare but matown planner vakaenda kuchikoro vanhu wenda kuchikoro for town planning and whatnot. I'm sure syllabus rine issue yekuti apa togona kuisa this apa togona kuisa this apa togona kuisa this so that the environment is peaceful.
I feel you, man. I feel you. Now they do. I don't think the town planners are doing their job anymore, because paseri pedu apa patorine change up.
All right.
It's just one right now. I guess maybe Zimotsi has always there.
Outside our way but much away. And you know, interesting enough, as you were saying, that you don't think the town planners are doing anything. The other day I was walking in town. These guys, I think they were from Harare. So light was like, mashingo vanhu vari mashingo vanofambisa sei, because ndiri kubuda mufamasi ndichipinda mubuchari ndichicrossa road ndichipinda mubhawa. How are all these things in one place?
Anyways, enough with the council. Do you have anything else that you want to talk about today? But I think the main reason why we talk about this, we feel like we can do better. we can improve. And like Mashingo always is always held one of the best councils, and we think maybe in the arrangement of things in the city it becomes even better than what it is right now.
Even speaking about that, Mashingo being like having the best council, I remember, probably I could be misremembering, but those who were of my era. If you remember, Mashingo had a twin city that was in Germany. Do you remember?
Oh really?
Yes.
I don't remember that.
We had a twin city that was in Germany, and the whole point of twinning us with that city was, as the city grows, we should grow to the same level of that city. So by now, 2025, we should have grown to the level of that city in Germany is in terms of technology standards and health. But I don't know where that went and how it fell apart. For those who remember,
that's gone, because I don't even know it.
You don't even know it, seriously. For those who remember, and we actually even used to have exchange programs where students from that city would come and live with kids, with parents this side, and kids this side would go to Germany and have exchange programs like that. But
yeah, it's gone with the wind.
It's gone with the wind, yeah. Yeah. So. What are your thoughts on pornography? Is it bad for society? Or is it good for society? Yeah, this topic has been going around so much on different podcasts. So yeah, you get different doctors, psychologists, psychiatrists, behavioralists, sexual health doctors talking about it. So I just wanted to find out from just a normal point of view, just
what's your perspective?
What's your perspective on pornography? Is it good or is it bad?
Pornography, like most things, it has the good side and the bad side. And the good side is, first of all, it makes people aware of things that they are not aware of.
Please speculate right there before you go.
For most people who are exploring, who don't know certain things, they can get some certain knowledge from pornography. Just like how we do appreciate some certain lifestyles from different countries through movies and film and sitcoms and all that stuff. You get an appreciation of a certain lifestyle and a certain perspective through pornography in the sex arena. So, of course, yes, it's acting. So once you know it's acting, you know that it's not 100% true. That means there's a bit of fiction.
But do most people know that, though, that it's acting?
Yeah, unfortunately, some people don't know that. And I think it will be very important for anyone who's going to consume that stuff to know that it is acting. So that just even like as they watch a movie, because I always say this to people, always say, pornography is utterly bad. If you see pornography, then you won't see your wife properly. If you watch a movie, does that make you what you've watched in a movie? Usually you watch horror movies, you watch Rambo, you watch even comedies, Madia, doing all that fun stuff. But you don't really become that. Of course, maybe you can take a few bits of that, but you don't become that because you know it's what? It's acting. So the same thing with pornography. Once you know it's acting, most likely it won't really change you much because you know it's what? It's acting. But like you said, do most people know that it's acting? I don't know. But I hope and I wish they would know.
So in that aspect, you're saying it's positive? Yeah,
it's positive in that direction. Of course, now when you go to the negative side, which is what people mostly just dwell on. Yeah, it's negative. Yet most of them consume it anyways. Because even if I go back to the positive side, it helps. You know, sex, it comes in so many different ways. There is intercourse. There is hand jobs, oral. There is self-satisfaction, all that stuff. So you discover that self-satisfaction is one of the safest ways of having sex, and pornography sits at the root of that. So if you look at it positively, you discover that pornography actually helps people not indulge in fornication, adultery, which are things that can even lead to unwanted babies, which can lead to diseases, spreading of diseases, even murder, even suicide. So pornography stands at quite an important role in society. So to some extent, you discover that pornography actually helps society. Because like I was trying to explain that it gives men a way out, another option rather. Instead of going to fornicate, instead of going to do adultery, instead of going to do rape, it can help you out because you have a way out. Which is important in society to some extent. So now going to the negative side that most people dwell on. So I was like, I think in nema pros, nema cons. So now going to the negative side, I think of course it can, for people who do not know that it is acting, so definitely these people who try to do that to their wives, to their spouses, and some people are not psychologically stable. It can even lead to things like rape now, unfortunately, because maybe for some people who then don't masturbate using porn, the only thing that then ends up happening is you have an age that you haven't really like fulfilled, so you end up going around doing crazy things. And that's definitely now, if you look at it, it will seem as if it's not really about porn, it's about the mindset. Well, what kind of a mindset do you really have? If you're just a bad person from the jump, or just a person who's just messed up in their minds with bad thoughts, definitely you're just going to end up doing bad things. Because wagara or urumunagashata, you're just looking for something to trigger that aspect of you. So on the negative side, people think it does that. Yeah, that one is off again. Then the other thing is it can also lead to addictions, because if you do it consistently and constantly, and if you keep on watching the same type of porn, there's a chance of you being addicted to that, which can end up probably messing up your relationships with girls, because you probably expect these girls to do that. You expect yourself to be pleasured that way, which can be very detrimental to your sex life. And of course, like I said, usually is pornography and masturbation. And masturbation also has its pros and cons, meaning that if you masturbate a lot, there is also negatives to it, because it can mess up with your skin and your sensitivity. So there's a lot. It's like a whole degree of thoughts of how this is. We cannot clearly just walk and say pornography is bad or it's good. It's a whole discussion. Unfortunately for Christians, they just come in and say it's bad outright like that. But I think if we're going to look at the general perspective, there are good things to be taken out of it, and there are also bad things to be taken out of it.
All right, but from everything that you're saying, it sounds like you're making it seem as if pornography is consumed by men the most.
No, when we say masturbation includes both.
No, I mean when you're talking about the consumption of it, do you think it's men who consume the most, or it's a combination of men and women equally?
Statistically, it's men who consume the most porn than women. Of course, both consume, but men, if I'm not mistaken, should be like a 2 to 3, should be 2 to 3 to 1, 2 to 1, something like that.
Why is it so? Would you think that men consume more
porn
than
women?
Than women, yet there are more women than men. So where's the disconnect here?
Obviously, men have more sexual drive than women. That's biology. That's why men can afford to have several wives and probably be able to take care and satisfy all of them at the same time, because a man can literally have sex like every day. A woman can go for months. Most of them, they don't work like that. That's why the gestation period is 9 months, because they don't really need to be like that all the time. So it's going to be men, definitely.
So I also going forward to say the fact that men cannot participate in polygamous relationships also has fueled the emergence of porn.
Definitely.
Because there is no outlet per se in realism. Yeah. The outlet has been stifled.
Yeah. Which I think is a good thing, because polygamy is a little bit tricky. Because you do have, as much as it will be alright, I feel like polygamy is tricky in the sense that you might have families that will be struggling financially, and also probably even emotionally. Because you might not end up getting the same emotional delivery, because you have a lot of women that need that, and you have a lot of children that you need to take care of, that you need to love. So I don't think polygamy is really the perfect type. Something that's close to that is monogamy. So I think porn now comes in to deal with that urge and avoiding polygamy.
Alright, because Panama Gogo Kabuda should be last month. Achiti dai hurumende yapa varume vanotora umwe mukadzi mari, because vanenge vachibatsira, because vana gogo vaneta nekuchengeta vazukuru, nekuchengeta vana vavo, like the girl child, because most of these girls get pregnant, then the husband either dies or leaves, then she just becomes a single mother. Where does she go? She goes back to her mother. Then Mana Gogo now have the burden. So this Gogo is saying, the government should create an incentive where if a man goes and says, I want to marry another wife, you should be given a subsidy. like X amount of money, say 10,000 US, so that he can now lift off and take care of that family, because vana awandisa kunzoko vasina vana baba yet vana baba variko but vari kuona porn.
All right. Yeah, that's an interesting way of looking at it. Yeah, very, very interesting. Yeah, I think it's plausible.
It's plausible.
Yeah,
and I think it will actually even reduce some of the government pressure on the government, because look at it like this: all these kids who don't have fathers, right, and the mothers don't have employment, whatever the case may be, the government one way or another ends up taking care of these kids, whether it becomes education or when it becomes health. The government foots the bill in the future, and the unemployment rate anyway in the future is going to increase, because they don't have any financial backing. So that means school, unemployment, crime, nengeriko. So if men come up and they say, no, I can take 2 wives, the government's like, cool, come through. We'll give you 10 grand to start off. We'll give you a stand, or we'll give you a government house.
What about if the government puts laws to punish, or rather to pull people away from just impregnating women?
All right. How would that look like though?
Because right now the law says that if you don't want to take a wife, you can always pay child support, and that's how it works. And child support can come in the orders of $10, $60 per month, or even less, which is probably not much of a what you call it, of anything that pulls someone away from doing things like that.
All right.
I think if the law would say maybe child support starts from about $200-$300 per month.
Oh, okay.
Men will be afraid of doing those things, and they won't do them, which I think would also probably attend to what Gogo was talking about. Because Gogo was saying, yes, death can contribute to that, but usually it's kumitisiwa. A lot of single moms are mitisiwa. So I think if men then, maybe if they realize that is the cost of sleeping around, they'll probably use protection more, or maybe even desist from doing these activities.
Then gravitate towards.
Yeah. Then we can also just run with our monogamy or even polygamy. But then there is responsibility now. We're just not dropping kids everywhere, because we know we can just get away with it.
Yeah, sure. That's another way of looking at it. Sure.
Because I think the issue here is irresponsible man. That's where the issue is. People just don't care, because they know the probability of getting this girl pregnant is very high when you sleep with her without protection, but you just do it anyways.
All right. Yeah, so all this was coming from the fact that, how do you see porn? Is it good for society, or is it bad for society? You saying it's a 50-50, it's not
50-50.
One-sided.
Yeah.
That is entirely bad, or it's entirely good. Funny enough, as I was going through this topic, and now I was going through what the doctors out there say, who've done research. And the good thing about these guys, when they talk about the things that they talk about, they literally do a research like through years and years of trying to see how it influences. And when it comes to porn, unfortunately, there is no specific research that really goes to show how it influences the brain, how it changes the brain. Of course, yes, they've imaged the brain, and they've seen how your brain lights up when it reacts to porn, how it lights up when it reacts to just a normal sexual encounter.
Yeah.
But the consensus that I got is that there's always a net good to almost anything. Whether it's porn, whether it's alcohol, whether there's always a net good.
Yeah, of course. This is like it's literally like every experience is a good experience, right?
Yes,
something
along those lines. To say the old way of thinking of it, to say alcohol is totally bad, porn is totally bad, cigarettes are totally bad. They don't see it in that sense anymore. They see it in the sense of what you were talking about, to say it can be beneficial and it can be detrimental. It depends on how you consume it, how you use it. So yeah, we're going to put the poll up, and I think it'd be interesting to see what you...
The funny thing about us Zimbabweans, most of them you hear, they say, hey, it's bad, but most of them don't be consuming it.
True.
And the reason why they feel it's bad is because of religion. They're afraid of what the pastors will say. They're afraid of what God will do to them when they say something like that. Is because the way Christians were raised is porn is evil. It's the devil stuff. So you cannot do that. You cannot watch that. You cannot promote that. And I think, isn't it illegal here in Zimbabwe?
Distribution of pornographic either videos, content, images is illegal.
Or even material. Because I recall there's a lady who was arrested for selling dildos and
yes, that's actually illegal.
Won't we be arrested for saying it's okay?
No, we won't be arrested. We are asking what you think.
I was saying that I think it's beneficial. Isn't that incriminating?
No, it's not, because you're not distributing anything here. You're not distributing.
Won't they say this guy was supporting porn and then now people are consuming it?
No.
It's contributing negatively.
The law says the distribution of pornographic material, whether it's... You know what? You be safe with this one. I'll be going with the...
Please, disclaimer. If you want to watch porn, you watch it at your own risk. I'm not saying watch it. I was just telling you what I think with my 5 senses. You don't think with 5 senses, but anyway, what I think with my brain.
Sure. So it's just an opinion, and so many people have different opinions. Some people will come up with the opinion and say, no, the exposure rate, kids are being exposed to porn, and when they're exposed, they become delinquents.
True.
Yes, people definitely, we can't deny those, yes. But I think just like anything else, if you expose a 10-year-old to black label,
True. Even to a bicycle tori proper mwana mudiki ane 4 years ukamba bicycle remunhu mukuru anodona. So but we cannot say bikes are bad.
So I guess ipapo ndo panenge pane ma-issues, but it would be interesting to hear what people think and what you would think, and whether you actually do watch it or not. I know a lot of people are not going to attest to it.
I want to even think some people, if they do watch these, my relatives and friends, I'm like,
yeah, I definitely am going to get a couple of calls. But I think it's important to talk about these issues because
and break the ice.
Yes, historical. Engonga, but that was porn. For real though,
that was
porn. Hardcore. So I think understanding even what you're talking about, it's acting. Man, Raya was acting.
You think it was?
Acting. Because if you're going to act, you're going to put a couple of things so that you are...
My props, my lights, some lights are going to switch off.
I think if you understand that, because people will see Ngonga and say, but it's something, it's entertainment. Either it's entertainment for himself or it's for other people, whatever the case may be, but it's entertainment. And if it's entertainment, but it's always some exaggerations kuti zvinakidzi hatingangozongoiti zvinhu zviri normal hapana nozvozviona nyangwe wakada kuzozvitarisa by yourself zvichitokuboa. So I guess, as you quite rightly put, to say it's entertainment, and if you understand that, just like wrestling,
of course,
wrestling back then when I was growing up, I didn't know it was acting. I actually thought it was real. Then if you had tried at home,
that's why they always say don't try
this at home because it's acting. So guys, let us know what you think about it.
Okay, so that's just about it from us today, right?
Yeah,
we'll conclude here.